Hey everybody, before we start this episode of the Wadcast podcast, I have a bunch of things to tell you, some exciting shit that's going on. I am in an Uber on my way to the airport right now because I'm headed to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to perform at the Improv in Pittsburgh. I am doing this Friday and Saturday night. Oh, I take that back. Saturday and Sunday night. I'm on stage Saturday and Sunday. That's the 26th and 27th of January. And I'm not doing Thursday and Friday as originally scheduled because Louis C.K. will be there. I might pop on the show with Louis, but I will be headlining Saturday, Sunday. So get your tickets now. Louis' shows are all sold out. Mine? No. But hopefully we will. So then I go on to Worcester, Massachusetts. I will be in Worcester the 31st, 1st, and 2nd at the Woo-Ha-Ha. Tickets are available at eddyf.com. That's Super Bowl weekend, so it should be crazy up there because of the Patriots. Then I go to New York City to play the Comedy Cellar, my favorite club, the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th of February. That's a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then I will be the 7th, 8th, and 9th. I will be in Boston again at Laugh Boston. So check me out at Laugh Boston. I want to sell that show out. That'll be after the Super Bowl, after the, I don't know who's going to win. I have no idea. But, and then I head off to Australia. So I'll be at the Adelaide Fringe Festival after that. I'm going to Launceston, Sydney. Get your tickets at eddyf.com. Book now. Australia sells out almost every night. So get your tickets. And what else? Check out, we got a sponsor this episode, which is For Athletics. These guys have been really supportive to us. They're making us our own leggings, the Wadcast Podcast leggings. And remember, I said, if 10 of you buy them, I will do the over 60 open workouts. Women's division only. Women's division only. So check out their website, forathletics.com. Check out what they're doing with co-branding to get your own gym, your own leggings. And also, if you want to support the show, one of the best things to do is go to the Patreon. You go to the Patreon and you just give us $3. You get to watch the episodes. $5 you get a chance of winning a Myopux or a Leopard Claw. Myopux is an electronic muscle stimulator and TENS machine, and a Leopard Claw is a scraper. I like to call it a scraper. It scrapes out all that junk, all that congestion and stuff, and I don't know what it's called. I'm not a physical therapist, but I do know it works. I use it myself. It's great. And Myopux and Leopard Claw have been very supportive of the show. They also support the Resiliency Project, which is a project for downrange military guys who need help with all their injuries. Like, people don't realize those guys get sore and tired and need this kind of stuff too. So when you guys buy one, they donate one to those guys. And so check them out. And if you want to win one, just give $5 to our show. $5 a month is all you have to pledge to keep getting the Wadcast every week. And then you could win this, like Shanti Green did. Shanti? Hope it's Shanti. Shanti Green, you just won yourself a Myopux and a Leopard Claw. And if you guys want to also help, go to Thrive Market through our click-through and take care of yourself. You help yourself, and then you help us by Thrive gives us a little kickback, and you get yourself some healthy food delivered to your house. And it's amazing. All the good healthy shit is through Thrive, and it's cheap. It's like Costco, but with healthy stuff. So just use the click-through on wadcastpodcast.com. That's where the Patreon is. That's where all my dates are at eddyif.com. I should put them up on Wadcast too, but eddyif.com is where they really hang out. If you want to ever come to my show, or if you want to send us a message, it's wadcastpodcast@yahoo.com. I love coming and stopping by your gyms and working out with you guys, so let me know. It's really fun. It's like finding people with common sense of everything. It's nice. I meet you, and then I'm like, hey, where's a healthy place to eat around here? You show me that. Lots of cool stuff. So, our guest this week, you probably all know him on television all the time, on the radio all the time. One of my favorite people. He's my go-to doctor that I call all the time. people wonder, is he a real doctor? Oh, hell yeah, he's a real doctor. He's one of the smartest guys I know. Dr. Drew Pinsky, you know him from Loveline, you know him from Celebrity Rehab. He's got a new podcast called Swole Patrol, and we made a house call at his house with the Bingo Bus. We drove the Bingo Bus to his house, and we sat with him. I could talk to Dr. Drew for 12 hours. The guy just knows so much, so smart, so interesting, and a wonderful human being. So enjoy this episode with Dr. Drew Pinsky. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special episode of the Wadcast podcast. I'm here with one of my favorite human beings in the world. I mean that. Dr. Drew Pinsky. I've been a guest on his show many, many times, and he helped us do our pilot for the Bingo Show. We're in the Bingo Bus in his driveway.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally my driveway, and it's so good to be back in the Bingo Bus. Last time I was in the Bingo Bus, I believe there was a band on the roof.
There was a band on the roof.
That was the case.
That was the best pilot ever. Did I ever show you the pilot?
No.
I got to give you the pilot.
And what happened to it?
It did its rounds, and we got to True TV where they said, oh, this is going.
Yes.
And then I was like looking at new cars I was going to buy.
Yes.
Then I got that phone call.
Well, no doubt those exexecutives are already gone. So
yeah.
Take it back to them.
I know. That's what I.
That's a great pilot.
That's what I didn't realize about this business. That you just keep going back and back and back.
Because different people certainly every 2 years.
We pitched to Esquire TV. We went into Esquire. We were sitting there, and the guy comes in and goes like this. He goes, guys, before we start, I just need to let you know that Variety Magazine's about to announce right now that NBC Universal is getting rid of Esquire.
Right.
And I was like,
listen, I got a better TV story than that. I was involved with Freeform, which used to be ABC Family. We did a pilot for them. We were on hold with them a long time. And finally, we brought everybody on earth into our big meeting. We said, look, for once and for all, we're going to decide, you want to do this thing or not? Because we have the pilot. The pilot's good. Everybody likes it. So we got all the big shot agents and all the big shot executives, and Sally Ann Salcido and all her people came in. And Mom, we were all in there, and they go, you're right. This has been way too long. We love this show. We will give you a final word on Friday. Guaranteed final word. It's looking good. Friday's the last word. On Thursday, the woman that said that became the president of all Disney Entertainment and stepped away from Freeform. And that was the end of the decision. That was it.
So
she became the head of the company. And that ruined our decision.
I have a million of these stories, and I'm wondering, how do people get shows made?
They can make them easy. Get them on TV is impossible.
Yeah.
And the more infinitely crazy part is, how are they successful on TV? It's almost an infinite thing there. It's almost infinite probability that you get something on TV and it be successful on TV. That's why when things are successful, I'm like,
when I got my first sitcom development deal, I was like, oh, this is amazing. I'm going to have a sitcom. I'm going to be like, you know, like Charlie Sheen or something. Well, probably like Charlie Sheen.
Only Chuck Lorre is producing it, but yeah.
But that's what I thought that's what happened. And then my manager said, just be thankful that you've got some money. He said, your show will probably never, ever be on TV. And I said, what do you mean? He said, well, they commissioned 80 shows. Of the 80 shows, they're probably going to make about 10 pilots.
Yeah.
He said, of the 10 they're going to make, they're probably going to put about 4 on the air.
Yeah.
And of the 4 that go on the air, 1 might make it past 1 season. And I went, that's so I have a 1 in 80 chance.
And each of those 80, they're spending a few $1 million on.
Yeah.
So my question is, why do we even call this a business? Because no business on earth operates like that.
No, except for the military. The military spends money like that.
Yeah, but the military is their motive isn't profit.
Right.
You know,
yeah,
at least they have no profit incentive. These people are supposed to be making money. It's supposed to be a business. So I just call it an enterprise.
Well,
it's an enterprise.
I used to say that about when I would hear how much a TV show, how many people viewed, like shows on FX would get 600,000 viewers if they were lucky.
Yeah.
And I thought about our old podcast used to get 125,000 downloads a week. And I went, my show that cost me, how much did we used to pay you, Ernie?
$125.
Yeah, $125 a week was getting 1/5 of the numbers of a television show, and our budget was 1 millionth.
So when we used to do Loveline and MTV, we would just do 5 shows a day and change our clothes and do another, got the same ratings as late night television on network today. Same rating.
Wow.
That's how much things are.
Well, that's why people say to me, do you want to do Fallon? Do you want to do Kimmel, one of those
You're
shows?
better off to do Kroll's podcast. You'll get a further reach.
I feel like if I do Rogan's podcast,
way better.
More people hear me than if I did the Tonight Show, Kimmel, Colbert, all of them combined.
Yeah, agreed.
So I don't waste my time with them.
The only I noticed I was Stern too.
Yeah,
that's the other thing. Stern has that too.
Yeah.
When people, it's the only time I have people stop me on the street. I love you on Stern. I love you on Stern. It's like, oh, okay. So yes, that'd be great.
I probably told you this. Beth and I grew up together.
No.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
So Beth is one of my close friends.
Really?
Yeah.
How fascinating.
And it's really weird. I went to Howard's house one time and
which one?
The one out in the Hamptons. And stayed there for the weekend and partied with Howard, and it was really weird. It was awkward. But Beth and I, and people always say, "Why have you never been on the show?" And I'm like, I don't know.
You know too much? You're too close?
I don't know.
You've done the after show.
They've asked me to do the after show.
Do that. It's fun. It's great.
I hate that elevator.
Well, you're going to whichever show you're on, you're going to ride that damn elevator to the 36th floor.
I have claustrophobia and can't ride elevators
at all.
Some of them I can.
Where'd you grow
up? Pittsburgh.
In a suburb.
Yeah.
So New York must be a nightmare to you.
Nightmare now. Wasn't for forever. My sister lives on the 15th floor, and I stay with her. I walk up.
The way phobias are. They come and they like fear of flying, stuff like that. They come, they peak, and then they go away all of a sudden.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And gone for good?
Usually, not necessarily.
I talked about this once with you on Loveline, and I told you how I went to get hypnotized, and you laughed at me. You were like, "Yeah, that'll work."
But now they use exposure therapies, and they really do work. Yeah, there's nodding over here. Yes,
exposure therapy. That's what I need to do.
Yeah, and they really do work.
I just kind of, with having a kid and everything, I've started to try to man up. I'm like, I gotta.
Yeah, but you have to. It has to be dosed out to you in tolerable doses in a certain way in order to build up.
I just went to my agent's office yesterday, and I went in and I looked at the elevator, and I was like, "This isn't happening." And then I went up the stairs, and it was locked. And I just called them and I go, "I'm a weirdo. Can you come let me in?"
Oh my God. I hate that. Well, I get it. I get that fear, but I don't get the phobia. You know what I mean?
Right.
The phobia is the irrational part.
I understand it's irrational. And it is paralyzed. And so I talk about it all the time. Machete. He calls me one day at his building. He has a studio in
Machete
in Koreatown.
What just happened? Ernie became Machete all of a sudden.
Danny Trejo.
Okay, got it.
So he has this building in Koreatown, and he's got a studio, and he always goes, "Hey, come record there." I'm like, no way. I'm not going up that elevator. And so he brings me in these weird stairs.
How long have you been dealing with this?
10 years.
Dude, come on. Get some
I know. So he calls me one day. He goes, "Dude, your worst nightmare ever." And I go, "What?" He goes, "I'm in the garage," and I hate garage elevators. He goes, "I'm in there, stops, lights out, everything." How long were you in?
And you were in it at the time?
Yeah, I was in 45 minutes. I was in there, complete dark, and it was during the heat wave in summer.
Wow, awful.
Yeah.
Well, sorry.
Yeah.
I had fear of flying really bad. It came on late, and then it really peaked out on me. And then I literally it was awful.
Really?
And I had this strange experience where I got to fly on Julio Iglesias' private jet. And it was so pleasant. And I was talking to the pilots, and I was so comfortable, and it was so beautiful. It just went away like that. Boom, just gone. And it was never back.
Mine's the opposite. When I fly on private jets, which I have a few times, as you do in this business, if you know somebody who's lucky enough to have one,
the way.
I hate them because they're so small usually, and I'm just like, I don't feel like I have any room. But I have flown on friends like Cessnas, where it's just me and them, and it's like,
see, that would drive me crazy. I don't like.
I don't mind that, because I feel more in control.
G7, which is what this was.
That's pretty big.
Huge.
A G7. Yeah,
or it was huge. Whatever it was, bigger than the Bingle bus, substantially.
Yeah, I've been on planes smaller than the Bingle bus.
Oh yeah,
it's freakier.
Yeah.
So this show, you've been on the Bingle show. This show is pretty much, we talk. It started out as a CrossFit show, but it's moved more, as I think fitness evolved into strength conditioning, health, fitness, and being a doctor yourself.
And I do something I do for health and fitness thing called Swole Patrol.
I was just going to say, and I talked about that. people don't realize how jacked Dr. Drew is.
I'm an old man. This is a remnant of something I had when I was a kid.
Really? You were always into lifting?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I mean, different times, more or less into it. But
you do curls for girls with those guns.
My arms have just been naturally, it's just part of my genetics. It's always been that way. Always.
No arms, no matter what.
Most people are that way, right? And I have no back. So
really?
My back is sort of difficult. And my arms get in the way of everything. They'll take over whatever movement I'm doing.
So do you have asymmetries that cause
no
problems?
I have a shoulder problem.
Who doesn't?
Right? Yeah, I know. But no, it's never been asymmetrical. No. It's just been difficult to get the concentrated certain groups going because the arm would just click in. That's it.
And your medical profession, you're an internist.
Yeah.
So when I
was a medical student, they were grooming me for orthopedics because I was this weightlifting guy and I like.
I've told people that and they don't believe me that. I'm like, orthopedists are the guys, the athletes that go in and hammer shit.
Correct. Yeah. And especially back then.
Yeah.
It was really much more carpentry than medicine. And I was being groomed for it. I mean, it was sort of uncomfortable because there were people who are desperate to be in that field. I really don't want to be.
Why not? You want to saw?
I'm not a carpenter. Yeah. I like people. I like complex physiological problems. I like patients awake, and that wasn't something that.
I just went to I broke my elbow and I went to see my buddy who's a orthopedist in New York City, and he was in the middle of surgeries and he said, I just go surgery to surgery to surgery.
I don't like surgery.
He said it's conveyor belt.
I don't like doing
assembly line.
I don't even enjoy surgery. So
I would love surgery.
Me.
I would love. When I was a ski patrol, they said there's two kinds of people that want to be ski patrol. One that wants to really do the job, and the other that wants to beat the system and get free passes and ski all the time. And they said, "Which one are you?" And I said, "I want to see the goriest accidents you have." And the guy goes, "Oh, you're a sociopath."
Yeah, you're the sick version of this. Got it.
So
speaking of sociopath, have you been watching Killing Eve? Have you seen that show yet? Oh my god! Sandra Oh just got the Golden Globe.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
it's good.
I'm assigning it to you.
Is it scary though?
No.
I'm weird about scary shit now.
No, it's not like Walking Dead kind of thing. It's intriguing.
Okay.
And fascinating and bizarre and funny.
My sister made me watch Homecoming, and I hated it.
I didn't like it either.
Hated it.
Yeah, me neither.
And I love Julia Roberts, but I just didn't
it was just
predictable. Like I know where
predictable,
this is
and who cares?
Go. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, this one you will care about.
Okay.
Because the actress that plays the psychopath is so freaking good. I mean, she just, it's breathtaking, her performance. I understand why she didn't get an award. So
I got to watch it. So Swole Patrol, what do you and Mike talk about?
Everything. I mean, Mike is a geek at this stuff, right?
So Mike used to do CrossFit. He was at CrossFit LA, which is a famous place my friend, former host of the show, owns now. It's called Oak Park.
Mike now is a heavy weightlifter, with Mark Smelly Bell at Gold's.
Oh, is he with Mark? Mark's a good guy. We've had Mark on the show a bunch of times.
Yeah, me too.
And
his brother.
Yeah, Mark and Chris are crazy.
Yeah, they're great. They're awesome. And so that's how I got in my current situation as it pertains to health and fitness is we started doing that show. I've always kind of worked out, and I was, I go back and forth between sort of running and working out, and I've always liked weightlifting. I just like it. It's like a study hall for me. I listen to podcasts. It's really very important for my physical and mental health. And Mark Bell came on, and he's like, "Oh, come on now, you got to start lifting heavy weights again." Because I was a kid, I lifted heavy weights, and because I was complaining about my back and my shoulder. He goes, "Heavy weights, that's the answer. Heavy weights." And I'm like, "Okay, all right, I know this story. I just get to be a bigger, fatter version of myself, and just I'm stronger, but I'm bigger, and that's it." And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. And a few weeks had gone on in between, and I came back. I'm like, "See, you guys happy?" And Mike goes, "Oh no, now you got to go on the keto or the carnivore." As a groan from the peanut gallery. And I was like, "Oh God, I'm too old. Come on now." And they convinced me, and I went, "All right, I'm gonna do it. I could do that carnivore thing pretty easily. So let's just do that." And
you could do the carnivore diet.
And in 3 days, I felt like I haven't felt in a long time.
Come on, I've heard this from Jordan Peterson on Rogan's show.
It's insanity. I would not have believed it had I not experienced it.
And you're a doctor, and you trust that you get all your nutrients.
Oh, no problem with all the nutrients. My concern is the long-term effects on the endothelial functioning of my arteries. That's my concern. And, I have metabolic syndrome. I tend to put my weight right here.
Right.
I'm hypertensive, hypercholesterolemic, insulin resistant, all those things. And
you had colon cancer too, didn't you?
Prostate
cancer. Sorry.
And I'm not young. And so, I'm on a statin and things. And on this diet for 3 months, I had the best cholesterol profile of my life.
So
the triglycerides were 75. They'd never been below 250.
have you talked to Sean Baker at all?
I have, and he's coming back again this weekend, in fact.
Okay,
That's my podcast.
because I'm very interested, because it was so funny when he did Rogan's show, he was talking about the carnivore diet, and Joe kept saying, do you have data on this? And he said, no.
There's data now. There's data coming in as a guy named Feldman that's collecting a lot of data. He's a cloud engineer. And in a weird way, cholesterol metabolism is the exact same kind of phenomenology as that he's studied mathematically his whole career. And so he has made a science out of this.
Okay, because I was saying, I'm not, like in my case, the jury's still out, because I probably do somewhat of a keto diet with.
That's really what try to get to. I mean, because I like vegetables.
Yeah.
I worry about all this fat.
I don't worry about the fat, but I want to get all the vitamins and minerals from the vegetables. No,
you get that from a Centrum. You know what I mean?
See, I don't trust them.
That's okay, and there's no doubt the plant-based diet, I can say with great confidence, superior on many fronts. Not the least of which is the impact on the environment. Check.
Yeah.
Having said that, I've not felt this good in 20 years.
That's what everyone says. That's all.
And I'm never hungry, which it's never the case for me. I mean, I'm always hungry usually. Now, never hungry. I have a little bit of palate fatigue. You
think you get satiated by all the fat?
I have trouble eating enough fat. I like protein.
Yeah.
And I'm just eating a lot. I eat too much. Actually.
What do you do? What's like a regular diet day?
You're laughing at me.
I am laughing. I don't think I could. I love
a lot of eggs. I try to sprinkle eggs throughout the day, but 2 eggs in the morning.
Okay.
And with her out some. We have some pork. My wife made a pork shoulder, so I'll throw some pork in with it, little bit.
It's good.
And
I could eat
then
that.
I'll eat some. In the afternoon is when I try to throw fat in, so I'll have some salami or some bacon, eggs again. There may be a hamburger or a steak laying around. I'll just take it and put it in a baggie, and then nighttime, whatever. Something meat based. And
just meat at dinner then.
Well, no, my wife last night made this great chicken cauliflower rice thing. I ate that.
Oh, okay. So you're getting a little bit of carbs in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm better. I'm better when I really restrict it, and I can tell the difference.
Oh, so I'm the same way.
I'm just not being crazy about it.
My carbs are super low.
It's clearly, and let me just say this. This is what I want people to understand. I'm not advocating this diet. I am not an advocate because we do not know if it's safe. I particularly don't know if it's safe for somebody 20s and 30s, right? For years on this diet, worries me. Mm-hmm. A guy my age might be a good thing for several years. It might even be advisable. I don't know. We don't know yet. But certainly at my age, the risks aren't as great. And I'm convinced that I'm pointing at my central obesity, my adipose, adipose around the midline. That is an inflammatory organ. Mm-hmm. That is a pathological state. And if you can minimize this dramatically, that may so outweigh any of the risks of eating, say, the bacon.
I gotcha, because of the inflammation.
Because of the inflammatory effects of the adipose.
Sure.
And I think that's a zone I'm getting in where that's why I'm deriving the benefit.
Sure.
Okay? Now, 30 years of that might not be good.
Right.
But doing it for 10 or 15 years at the age of 60, whatever, who knows?
Yeah, I just had a bout of indigestion really bad that it was like deathly. Like I woke up in the middle of the night. It happened twice. Once in Alaska and once, I forget where else I was. And I was like, what the fuck?
Heartburn.
Such bad heartburn. I call my cardiologist buddy.
Oh, good. I was going to say.
He goes, take Galveston and Pepsid and blah, blah, blah.
Did you do that?
No, because then I love Chris Kresser. I love Chris Kresser. He's always on Rogan, Dr. Chris Kresser.
Yeah.
He had this whole thing on, it's kind of the opposite. You need more acid in your system to basically kill the kill the bacteria, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, my God, dude. That's for chronic heartburn. For acute heartburn like that.
But I've always had kind of chronic heartburn.
Yeah, for your chronic heartburn, good. But for your acute heartburn, take the capsule.
Oh, yeah. To get out of that
burned
situation.
your esophagus.
Oh, I did burn my esophagus.
Yeah,
there was.
So
you're saying just
if you keep burning it, not only will you get stricturing of the esophagus, you will get cancer.
Yeah.
So, dude.
Yep.
Come on now.
Go at it. Okay.
Come on now.
Good to know.
Okay.
Good to know. But so I did I just cut out all the carbs, went to high doses of vitamin C, took apple cider vinegar tablets.
Okay.
And I'm better.
Okay, good.
I'm completely better. But
so that's on the assumption that this is an H. pylori related phenomenon.
So I took the H. pylori test.
Mm-hmm.
Negative.
Okay, before or after the
After.
Okay, so who knows?
Yeah. Okay,
Right.
that's what I thought.
Right.
Because don't we all have H. pylori to like some extent?
Maybe
it's one of those things.
And to what extent how is it pathological, and to what extent all stuff still a little mysterious, a
Okay,
little bit.
Changing the subject a lot because it's something we talk about on the show, and I always wanted to have you on because you're an addiction specialist.
Okay, here we go.
CrossFit and functional fitness, and people especially with CrossFit Games and people competing where they, I don't know if you know, they compete for like 5 days straight in 3 different events.
Oh my God.
Yes. And when I first got into it, I was like anyone else that does it, was like, I want to do this. I want to show that I'm the baddest motherfucker in the world. Cut to 10 years later, I'm going, oh my God, I'm crippled.
Right.
Right. What have I done to myself? Have I increased my mitochondria density? What have I done to myself? Am I, sore shoulders, sore knees?
You've hurt your joint. You stressed your joint.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
So, I've evolved,
Okay.
but I still see in this world so much what is like body dysmorphia and exercise addiction.
Right. So the 3 things: body dysmorphia, exercise bulimia,
Exercise bulimia?
and exercise addiction.
What's exercise bulimia?
Exercise bulimia is when you're discharging all the time, much the way you would purge, but particularly if you eat too much and you exercise more. Right?
Oh, wow.
If I ate a little too much, I'm going to do that much more today.
Yeah.
That's exercise bulimia. And it's highly reinforced, right? Exercise addiction, exercise bulimia, these are highly reinforced behaviors because people are like, oh my God, you look great. Your trainers tell me I'm doing great. I'm winning all these contests. So it's hard to pull it out, the pathology out sometimes from the social context.
Sure.
Yeah. And there's a lot of it.
And then what's the third one? So exercise bulimia.
Exercise bulimia, body dysmorphia.
And what's the
Those
third?
are the 3. Body dysmorphia are the 3. These are the 3 common conditions in these situations.
That's 2.
Exercise addiction, exercise bulimia, body dysmorphia. And you could argue that dysmorphia figures into all of it.
So I see a lot of addiction. I mean, the fact when people are exercising 2 and 3 times a day.
I'm an exercise bulimic addict.
Really? You go after the...
but I'm not, it never gets out of control. It's always just, I'm aware that like, come on. Because I'll I used to, when I was on more of a restrictive diet, I could feel myself like, I'm going to work out harder. I'm going to run too. It's like, okay, well, come on now.
See, I'm not there because mine isn't out of vanity. Mine is out of fear of dying, where I'm always constantly trying to find the elixir, like the fountain of youth. And I'm like,
so your first, so how old are you now? Mind me asking?
I'm so old.
Okay. So first order of business is to go to a website called color.com. And doing that genetic testing. Okay, it's a way of screening for certain genetic risk for cardiovascular disease and cancer. I did it. Turns out I have something called MSH6. Lo and behold, I have prostate cancer, and I have a risk for it.
Okay.
I'm also at risk for colon cancer and stomach cancer, and so because of that identification of this thing called Lynch syndrome, I now have to have scopes done every year. Insurances pay for it because I'm at risk.
Right.
They don't want me to get that. So it's completely changed my cancer screening procedures.
This is color.com.
Color.com. It's like $200. That 5 years ago would have been 10 grand. Now it's $200, and if you're positive, they'll test your first degree relatives for $50.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how they do it, and they give you half hour with a geneticist.
That's amazing.
It's unbelievable, and you
just take a blood test and send
spit test.
Spit test.
Yeah, it's like Ancestry or whatever. It's 23andMe, but none of those have this test. This is BRCA and 28 more.
I'm afraid to know all these things.
Because dude, we'll discuss when you get it. And you'll have a geneticist there to tell you how to screen for it and all these things.
Sure.
And it changes, and the insurances then, of course, will go along with it because they don't want you to get these things. And so that's a strong move you could make to reduce your risks. And the way you reduce risk is with screening, right?
Sure.
Proper screening.
Sure.
Okay.
So, I took one of the tests on the internet where you fill out all this information to see what your average life expectancy will be. And they asked a million questions.
Okay.
And I found it was really funny.
Who did it?
I forget, but it mostly relied on your grandparents' age.
Oh, interesting. Was it an academic institution was doing it, or
I forget, but I played around with it a lot. And like I'd go from using condoms all the time to never using condoms.
My grandparents are 40, died at 40. They died at 120.
Yeah. So I would play with things. Rides a motorcycle, doesn't ride a motorcycle, blah, blah, blah. So I switched all the things, and the things that made the most difference were
riding a motorcycle.
Yep,
for sure.
Yep. Riding motorcycle.
Yep.
Grandparents' age,
and
and I think those were the two, and smoking.
Oh yeah, smoking and alcohol has a little thing there. Yeah. Smoking is massive. And so I'm like, okay, well, I don't have to worry. And my grandparents lived to be 96 on my dad's side, mom's side, not so old, but so get your have your cholesterol right. You get a physical every year.
But then I do stupid shit
prostate screening, colon screening,
which I think a lot of CrossFitters do. Remember when I called you with Bell's palsy?
Oh my God, yeah, that was awful. Yeah.
So I call a friend of mine after that.
Yeah.
And he wrote the book, The Paleo Solution.
Yeah. And
I said, Rob, I'm really freaked out because I said, I don't know how this happened. I'm eating well. And I said, I've been fasting. And you said, that's a good thing you're fasting. I said, is it because I'm fasting? And he said, well, how much were you fasting? And I said, well, I did Murph yesterday. And Murph is a workout where you run a mile, you do 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 squats, then run a mile. And it takes anywhere from a good guy can do it in 25 minutes to an hour. I was fasting for about 16 to 18 hours, 18 hours, and then I went and did it.
But again, you stressed your system excessively.
Exactly.
Sure. But did that cause a virus to get into your facial nerve?
Was the virus? So that's what Rob said. He said you could have suppressed your immune system,
maybe,
and allowed it to pop,
or maybe it just happened.
Yeah,
I mean,
really?
where biological shit happens to. Do you know how many? I could go into my office and give you a stack of medical texts this high of all the shit that can happen to us by tomorrow morning.
If I read that, I'll have a heart attack right in front of you.
Right, exactly. You can't worry too much about our being biological. The amazing thing is we live at this great time when we can minimize our risk dramatically, and we all tend to go quite far. And don't smoke and do your cancer screening and do all these things. And
so my high intensity interval training, is it going to kill me?
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't keep doing it at 75 though. You may be very old, but you're not that. No, I like. Look, I kind of feel like we're pushing back the aging process a little bit too. You don't want to go so hard that you accelerate aging, but I think a lot of these kinds of maneuvers, whether it's heavy weightlifting like I'm doing or interval training, all those things, I think those work. I think they're good.
Yeah, I do.
Obviously, we can overstress ourselves.
That's what I'm worried about, that we are going too far because...
I'm not so worried about that.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
I mean, I'm sure you can, but and again, you can get crazy too, right? You can get pathological behavior around this stuff.
I think when you talk, I don't have exercise addiction. I have addiction about talking about exercise and nutrition.
Yeah, Catherwood has that too. That's his thing.
So I talk about it constantly, and then I'll work out for 10 minutes. Like I'll do. Today I just went for a hike. That's all I did. I was like, I'm just going to go for a hike. Healthy. Took the dogs out, but I took my heart rate monitor and monitored the entire.
And what did you want? What were you going for?
Well, I'm trying to fix my aerobic system because I feel like I'm completely anaerobic, and I've been there my whole life because I was a sprinter growing up.
Yeah.
And everything I've always done is power and speed oriented, and I've never built an engine.
There is a genetic testing, another genetic testing called fitness genes. Have you ever seen this?
No, I'm loving this.
Yeah, I did their thing. I did a podcast with the guy, the scientist behind it. It's good science. It's not established science, if that makes sense. And it was what got me. One of the things that got me back towards weightlifting again is he goes, because I get told all kinds of things by trainers all the time, and I always drift back to this certain. I worked out with Bill Pearl back in the day. Do you know who he is?
Bill Pearl?
Bill Pearl sort of invented weightlifting.
Okay.
he was the first, like, Mr. Universe, that kind of stuff. And he goes, look, every body part, 4 sets, 8 reps, heavy, period. That's it. And he trained all these people through the 70s, all that whole era of guys. Little did I know the tremendous amount of steroids they were all taking. but I just went, why can't I get like that?
I've had those same problems.
Wouldn't it be great?
All the way from high school.
Take steroids. It'd be
amazing.
So great. Oh, it'd be so fun.
I've heard this: 10 to 12 pounds of muscle a year is possible to build without steroids. 20 to 25 with steroids.
I'm not building any more muscle no matter what I do.
That's
the way it goes.
Is that the age thing? You're not going to build.
Correct.
More. You're just not
unless
I
take testosterone. And
right.
Then if I take steroids, I really do it. I can do a lot.
But if you take testosterone, then you're also going to put yourself at risk of many other things.
Well, I have prostate cancer, right?
Okay,
and we don't really know what reactivates metastatic disease if there's something sitting around somewhere. So that's a concern. And we really don't fully really know the effects of testosterone on the artery system, the endothelial system that I always worry about. And but it looks good. I mean, it looks good in physiological doses. But what is a physiological dose? Because the range of normal testosterone is so massive. It's 280, 250 to 1200.
But everybody's prescribing it.
I know. I'd love to take it. I'd love to.
Yeah, I would too.
I'm not against it.
Or human growth hormone for injury. For fixing injury.
My joint. Let's go do it. Come on. Let's do that. Get somebody in here to inject us.
I've had so many friends say to me, I'll go, my shoulder just won't, and they're like, go get some human growth hormone and you'll be better in like a week. And I go, I just can't do it.
That get better too. It'd be so fantastic.
They said the friends of mine that do it are like, it's the greatest. It's the fountain of youth. And I'm just afraid to go.
If you do decide to do it, we'll do it together.
But isn't there that whole mTOR type thing? Like you're going to make yourself heal faster, but you're going to die quicker.
Maybe. That's the question.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't really know.
Guys, I just want to interrupt the show for a second to talk to you about our sponsor. If you're a gym owner or manager, then this message is specifically for you. For Athletics, we are working with. They are the makers of 100% USA-made premium leggings. That's right. Think like yoga pants, the things that make women look so amazing. They've created a true one-stop for gym owners when it comes to co-branding leggings. They're continuing to develop a co-branding platform for their all-time best-selling legging. That one is called the Rise Up High Waist 7/8 Omni Legging. Did you get that? Rise Up High Waist 7/8 Omni Legging. Look for that one on their page at forathletics.com. They want to help you get your logo or branding on premium leggings for your members to work out in and rep your gym. Okay? Doesn't have to be all your members. It can be some of your members. Doesn't matter what size your gym is. You can have 5 members. You can have 1,000 members. But this is a way to get your group together, get your gym together, get your community together, and get your logo on there. You're going to advertise for your gym, and they are quality. Here's the best part. You're not going to pay out of pocket. What you do is you get the group together. You put an order in, they print them for you. They're the one-stop shop for your gym. They make the leggings. They give you access to their designers to get your branding on the leggings, and they provide renderings. You can share it with your members for pre-sale orders. They have in-house printers, print on the leggings for you, and then they fulfill all the orders and ship them out to you. How about that? Here's the best part. Like I said, no minimum orders. Doesn't matter if you have a huge gym like Invictus or someone like that, or you're just a bunch of dudes in a garage or women in a garage. You get your branding, you get it out there, you advertise for your gym, and you can buy 5 or 500, and here's the deal. They're all the same low price. $40 per legging. That's $40. And this co-branding platform has been designed for you, the small gym owner. They're thinking about you. This is a way for you to get your gym together, and you can mark it up to any price you want. Sell them. It's a good way to make some extra cash for your gym and also get your logo out there, get advertising, get all these good-looking people wearing your leggings, and people go, I want to know what gym they're coming from. So check them out. forathletics.com. Go to their affiliates part on there. It's actually forathletics.com/pages/affiliate. That's forathletics.com/pages/affiliate. They also have some Wadcast leggings there that you should get and then wear. Because I said if 10 people buy them, that's all that has to happen. 10 people buy them, and I will wear them and do the over 60 workout. Over 60 female workout in the open. Every one of them. I'll do 5 weeks of it. Yeah, I said it. I'm not afraid. Do you guys as doctors know anything?
Well, remember, science is all the business of science is disproving things, right? That's what science is, disproving.
Okay.
Because we really don't know anything. The stories that people tell, the narratives about physiology are a million miles from reality, right?
Right.
I mean, it's all physiology are these very complex chemical equations and relationships that follow certain mathematical models that are essentially probability equations. Mm-hmm. It's like giant clouds interacting. Right. It's not, oh yes, the glycolysis and the pyruvate goes over here to the Krebs. It's like, yeah, it kind of does that, but it's much more complicated. So
Yeah. My friend told me that. He said when he went to med school, he goes, they tell you you're going to cut open this arm and you're going to find this in there and this in there. And he goes, you cut open and he goes, none of that's there.
Yeah.
And it's over somewhere else, like up in his shoulder. And you have to like, he goes, the human body's so different. Everybody's different and things that are going on that he goes, we're guessing a lot. A lot of
that's just the anatomical side, and that's easy.
Mm-hmm.
That's a concrete, objective structure.
Right.
Physiology is,
yeah,
it's just sort of probabilities of kinds of molecular interactions.
So I'm just going to go back to not listening or reading anything.
No, I mean we can kind of understand it. We can try to optimize things, and it's not nothing. It's just don't be careful about certitude.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I have fallen in, I've tried every kind of training from German volume
I didn't
training.
know you were this crazy. I didn't know it.
Yeah. Why didn't
I know? I guess I saw a lot of your Instagram stuff where you're always on there.
I hide it a little bit because years ago, I didn't want to be Joe Piscopo or Carrot Top.
Yeah, right.
And every time I start to put on some mass, I get self-conscious and start eating leaner because I'm like, I can't look big on stage.
I do not want to be
like
Joe Piscopo.
I don't want to have those like traps that, you automatically, the only guy that gets away with it is Rogan. People are like, yeah, he's funny and he's big and he's tough. It's pretty hard to be the muscular guy on stage. But I've always, who was it? I was talking to John Mayer once and he was telling me about Krav Maga and how he takes Krav Maga. And he said, I'm a survivalist. Like he goes, I look at life like, how am I going to survive? And that's something I'm going to need.
Wow.
And ever since I was a kid, when I would go out in like high school and college, I would always wear running shoes. And people are like, why are you wearing running shoes? And I go, you never know when you're going to get chased.
Wow.
And I always wanted this type of physical fitness that it was like, if the shit goes down.
Yeah. It is fun to be,
apocalyptic.
Yeah. I trained a little bit. Corolla trained me in boxing for a little bit. And I remember thinking, God, it's so nice to be able to feel like you could handle yourself.
Have that confidence.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I don't have. I don't have, and I've talked to Rogan about this a bunch.
Your grandfather's friend.
Yeah, my
pointing
great
in
uncle.
a picture here.
Yeah, he's there's a lot of fighters in my family, and I don't have any skills at all. I mean, I've gone to like a couple boxing classes, but I told Tony Jeffries. Have you guys ever had Tony Jeffries on from Box and Burn?
No.
Oh, he's great. British guy, won the silver medal. And I keep telling him I'm going to go down and train with him. But I'd like to know jujitsu, but I don't mind working out and working hard.
You got to get Corolla Catherwood in here.
I know.
You guys would geek out.
I know. We do when we see each other. I don't want to roll around with men.
No, I know, but you have the same geeky attitude about health and fitness, and even the martial arts and things. I think you would like it, but I understand you have certain.
I don't want to.
You don't want to do it. I get it.
I don't want to.
But you probably like some sort of self-defense stuff, right?
Yeah, I just talked to somebody recently who told me if you're claustrophobic like I am, they're like, you're going to lose your mind. Because
when you're in a hold.
How often they get you in a hold, you'll freak.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
That might be where it came from, because as a kid, my cousins used to beat the shit out of me and wrestle me all the time. And
would they hold you so you couldn't breathe?
Yeah, all the time.
Oh, well, there it is.
Yeah.
That has profound impact on people. I had an interesting experience like this with another patient. It was actually, what's her name? We treated her on Celebrity Rehab, big, tall, blonde lady. She's going to be mad. I can't remember her name.
Not the one that was
Nielsen, Brigitte.
Yeah, that's who I was going to say.
Nielsen.
Yeah,
Brigitte Nielsen's
didn't she?
Father.
She was with Flava Flav.
Yes, Brigitte Nielsen's father used to grab her and play a game where he'd hold her where she couldn't breathe and would traumatize her. And she had like 3 in a row, boyfriends or husbands or something, that all tried to drown her.
So she was like seeking it out.
But isn't that weird how these experiences create? I don't know.
The childhood.
Who knows what that is? But it's weird. And now for you, it's the phobia. It's different.
It is the phobia, and it's with the not the exercise addiction. I wonder why. I think exercise addiction a lot comes from insecurity. I think people just grow up like it's something they can control and something they can change, where they might not be able to change their appearance so much or their athletic stature, but they can get in the gym and work out every single day, where they get like.
Yeah, they can change themselves. They can kind of control stuff.
Yeah, it's like
nothing else. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know why I like it so much. It just feels. I can never do the things I don't feel good to me exercise wise.
Right.
I'll only do stuff that like feels gratifying.
Right.
It's just
I like the science of it, and I like the when I first got into CrossFit.
I used to be more into the science of it. I think back in medical school and residency and stuff, I used to pay much more attention to that. I just got kind of burned out on it.
Yeah, because I like to hack it. I'm like, oh,
you can't. That's maybe why I burned out on it. No, really. Eventually, I was like, oh, if I'm not taking steroids, I got it.
Right.
This is just where it goes. So unless I'm going to get into pharmacology here, that's
so a lot of people that listen to this are trainers, and I on an episode got in a fight.
So let me finish the fitness gene thing.
Okay.
So the fitness gene guy comes in and he goes, I've analyzed your gene. He goes, you should be on this kind of diet, no carbohydrates, and he goes, and here's how you should work out. He goes, look, you will lose. He told me exactly what I knew. He goes, you should be low rep, heavy weight. Mm-hmm. You'll get the most out of that. It probably feels good too. And yes. And do explosive movements. Yes, but don't do them for too long. Perfect. And then he said, you may need to work out 6 days a week because you'll quickly lose what you've got. And I'm like, yes, that's my thing. Even if it's 20 minutes, 6 days a week, if I don't do it every day, I just lose everything. And
do you work out here in the gym at home?
Yeah. That's where I just hang
every
out.
day.
I try. I think I'm going to drop it down a little bit.
Well, you're all over the place too.
I'm kind of busy, but when I'm here, I mean, I just love it before I get in my car. I just do it for 20 minutes and then I'm out.
That's great.
20, 30 minutes. Yeah.
But what I was going to say is I got in trouble on this show. We had on, her name was Jen Wiederstrom, and she was one of the trainers in The Biggest Loser. And she and I didn't click. We didn't get along, and we had it out on the show. How can somebody
not get along with you?
I know. I agree.
No, I'm serious. That's weird.
She hated me.
What?
And I snapped
because you
on
seemed
her.
like you knew too much or something?
No. I think something preconceived, but she kind of came at me, so I snapped on. Like I kind of turned on her, and I let out all my feelings of The Biggest Loser, which I think is a complete scam.
It's awful. Yeah,
it's awful.
Show. It's a TV show,
and it's terrible what they're doing to people and the public.
Listen, I remember like season 2 or season 3, a guy went to heart failure. Dude, they carefully hid that. His legs swelled up, and it was.
And I know trainers that work behind the scenes on those shows, and they're like, "Oh, we just took them like." They do what you see on the show, and then we hit the treadmill for another 2 hours, or we do this, and we're restricting all their feeding and blah, blah, blah to get them to this dramatic weight loss. And so I said to her, the average person can't do that. Like they don't have the money or the means to do this.
And I said, that they should not do
that. But more importantly, and what I'm trying to get to is these people like Machete, who's gone because he had to go do his other show. He and I always talk about this because he's been working on this show for 8 years or something, and had still dealing with weight issues. Yeah. It's not. He'll go to the gym every day. It's not the gym. It's not the diet. It's up here. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like we need less trainers and more therapists.
Well, that's interesting.
Because I feel like that's the start of this, is dealing with why are you at this situation?
Yeah.
Because some people it's medically and it's but a lot of times, why are you eating like that? Or why are you psychologically?
Yes. And it's maybe even much more comprehensive. Maybe they need medical evaluation and psychiatric evaluation, neurobiological evaluation, and physiological, and then psychiatry and psychology, and then a trainer.
Sure. Dylan Farr, who's a trainer that comes on the show and is a nutritionist, he has all his clients get a DEXA scan and blood tests before he starts working with them. Uh-huh. And he goes down their blood panel and he goes, okay, you're insufficient in this. We need to work on this. And you can look at their asymmetries in your body and you need to build this. You need to blah, blah, blah. And we've got too much body fat here. And that way you have data to work with where you're going, we've got some metrics here that we can work on.
But one thing that's rarely discussed, let's go back to Machete, is appetite management.
Yeah.
Right. And how do you deal with that?
Yeah.
How do you, it's and there's, like any other sort of human behavior that is motivationally based, it requires a lot of support and other people around to really tolerate whatever you have to do to make those changes.
But I think that's the future. I mean, if you look at how obese everyone is in our country and the problems we have right now, and everybody's talking health, I don't think it's new diets and new exercise waves. Orange
Oh,
Theory.
well, the obesity thing to me is all about trauma.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
And we've got that much trauma in this country?
Oh, yes. Let me tell you, as somebody who deals with it all the time, it's everywhere.
That's
Adverse
crazy.
childhood experiences, we've been through an incredible period of that.
So how are we going to fix that?
And by the way, all the craziness that we're acting out in social media and politics and stuff, that's all a manifestation of this. Start focusing on our families and our families' health and doing proper child rearing and,
Oh, we're fucked.
You've been fucked for a little while here, yeah.
Yeah, I read.
You've been on Loveline. How many traumatic individuals? What percentage of calls were trauma survivors? 90%.
90%.
Yeah.
I always tell people that, and when I start talking to people, I'm like this amateur psychiatrist from doing Loveline so many times that I would just listen to Dr. Every person would call in, and you're on your phone, you're like doing whatever, and they'd start, and you'd go, "What's your relationship with your father?" And right away they're like, "Oh, it's fine," and you'd be like, "Really? Where is he?" And they're like, "Well, I haven't talked to him in 10 years."
Like everybody's dad. He lives in Florida. Like everybody.
And then you're like,
he sends me cards at Christmas sometimes.
And then he would go, when you were growing up, did you have any was there any abuse? No. You sure about that?
No. You got to go. You got to do, well, did anybody ever hit you? Well, I got disciplined like anybody else. And I go, okay. And in your discipline, did anybody ever pick up an object? Well, sure, of course, like the belt, spoons, hatchets, knives, bowling balls. I mean, like anybody, I had to be disciplined. It's like, oh, okay.
These were
and
the
this
80s.
Is everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
this happens clinically too. I mean, that's where I got that mechanism of really asking questions slowly and carefully, because people, they put a gloss over all that stuff.
Interesting.
I needed it because I needed to be disciplined. It's what was good for me. They literally identify with the perpetrator. It's really not good.
So I read this guy Lustig, Dr. Lustig's book, all about the addiction in America right now. That's he calls it corporate addiction, where we're addicted to sugar, a massive sugar addiction,
and starch,
and screens, and the screens and the sugar, and they're both releasing the dopamine, and they're both depleting the serotonin, and we are having this. It's creating, obesity.
Well, the other thing about there's two other things on obesity that we need to kind of think about, and I'm not. One of them's easy to point out, which is the corn syrup. Yeah. Right. Okay. That needs to go. Yeah. But carbs generally need to go. So I think there's a bigger carb story, but it's the corn syrup thing. You can correlate that with the obesity. The other thing that nobody talks about, and I'm not quite sure what to do with it, that when you correlate, the obesity epidemic and other social phenomenon, moms in the workforce.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I'm certainly not advocating they should come out of the workforce. I'm saying we need to accommodate that in some way, that we look at what's what's missing that the kids need, that
I've always thought that. My dad has said that from day one with I don't want the Me Too movement coming after us for this, or saying that we're being sexist, because I've got
I'm advocating for women in the workforce and us properly adjusting.
Sure. Yeah. And I've seen it work where my sister has a really good job, and her husband decided to be the stay-at-home dad and take care of the child. And good. She's a very well-adjusted girl. And and I struggle with that with my wife a bit, because we're able to both kind of juggle it, where we both have these weird jobs that.
What's your wife do? I'm not sure.
She designs jewelry.
Cool.
And so she can do it from home, and she has meetings and things. She has a meeting. You've got Izzy, we can bounce it back and forth, and food to us is like super, super important with how
meals.
How my daughter eats, and she learns from us. Good. And
that's key.
But that, I'm preaching to the choir, this fan base all is like that. They all eat healthy, and they're all trying to ingrain that on their, this is kind of a revolution.
You got to be careful with the kids. They can easily,
go the other way.
They can start to go, well, F that. That's when my kid is rebelling against that.
Yeah. Well, we're not John Wellborn, who's CrossFit football, came on once, and he goes, "Don't get crazy."
Yeah, don't get crazy.
He's like, you're at a party.
Be present. Don't get crazy.
You're at a birthday party and all the kids are eating cake. Let your kid eat cake.
Of course.
Of course. But we had my daughter's birthday party the other day, and there's pizza, there's cake, there's candy. And I was just and I'll eat cake and I'll eat pizza. Everyone, I'm not, but I kind of walked around and I was a little bit angry. Like, why are we like this as a culture that we all know this is horrible shit and we're just shoveling it in our faces?
Well, I mean, there's a reason we've adapted these food types, and there's a reason our evolutionary biology is attracted to these food types because
they taste fucking amazing.
Because in a situation of relative deprivation, this is a good way to get calories in that are effective, that can keep us alive.
Sure.
So the problem is now we have too much, and so we have to control it.
I always find that, like, being on a somewhat restrictive diet, because you can't pull over anywhere or get food like that you like or need, there's not a Whole Foods everywhere, that when I get to the point where I'm in a fasted state and I'm need to be somewhere and I feel like I need calories, that's when the sugar idea hits my head.
Of course.
Where I go,
because that's the fastest way to get that your brain satiated.
Sugar in there, and it's really, really tough. I curb it a lot with the have you ever had the Justin's almond butter?
Yes.
Oh, it's the best thing in the whole world.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Has that got a lot of carb in it?
It's got all fat.
See, and it's cheat with it. I thought it was
very little sugar.
Yeah.
And I have the one with the maple syrup.
Oh no. And I wouldn't do that. 3
grams.
Still, I'd be like scared. Like, maple syrup, I can't do it. Because I've been pretty obsequious about the no carbs, and because I feel so great.
I stay.
I mean, I will, cheat a little here and there.
I'll stay
certainly with the vegetables. I'll cheat like crazy.
Stay. Oh yeah, I don't know, because I don't count my vegetables ever. Like I eat every kind of vegetable, but yeah, I just think we're losing our. I sit on airplanes every day next to like 2 fat people and want to yell at them because I'm squished between.
I feel bad.
I'm mad though when I'm like stuck in between them.
I know, but I feel really compassionate for people struggling with that stuff.
I guess I should be more sympathetic, and just because I've never
struggled with it. Some people don't care or don't want to change, and that's good. That should be good too.
Yeah. My wife went to high school with that girl. What's the show?
This Is Us?
No, that's a reality show, and she's a very obese girl,
okay.
and she was a YouTuber that would show videos of herself dancing.
Yeah.
And she's very proud of it, but she says she has that syndrome. Something that comes from there. Ooh,
what are you talking about? Now I'm fascinated.
Oh, it's something to do with like the uterus or something.
And?
Oh, I read all about it, and I'm like, I kind of was like, she's full of shit.
That she has that problem?
Well, when I read up on it, it was one of those things that they're not sure that that's what's causing the hormonal issues.
Oh, she has endometriosis or polycystic ovarian disease.
That's it, polycystic.
Yeah.
What is it again?
Polycystic ovarian disease.
Yes.
It's a chicken or egg with that one too. Because you get overweight, you can get sort of lack of estrogen cycling and things. So.
Okay. Curious about gestational
diabetes. What about it? You're not going to get it.
No,
don't worry.
But how often? Like, is that food induced?
If you're overweight, you're at higher risk, but it is a genetic phenomenon to some degree. And if you have gestational diabetes, you're much more likely to develop diabetes later in life.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So type 2.
Type 2. Type 2 is kind of an interesting mix. I'm not a diabetic specialist, but there's lots of interesting subsets of type 2, and that's a subset.
Yeah,
I would call it.
But can't diabetes be controlled by your diet? Pretty much,
type 2. Yeah. Well, there's a weird thing with diabetes, and I think I've seen explanations. I don't have it in my head, and I've seen different explanations. But there's a strange thing with diabetes that once you tip into it, you really don't go back.
Really?
You just control it.
Okay.
So something happens in the intracellular mechanisms that you kind of tip into. And that's kind of the way it is now. Now, I'm not going to say I've never seen a tip back. I have seen a tip back all the way, but it's unusual and it's difficult.
I had my number on my H1. What is it?
Why are you fucking worrying about that? Do you have diabetes in your family?
No.
But take that color.com test and find out what your risks are.
My number was pre-diabetic. My
really?
Yes, my doctor told me.
What number?
I forget what it was. I could look it up.
5.8, 5.9?
I forget, but she goes, you're in the range of pre-diabetic. And that's when I had the bad 90 days. I had a really bad 90 days. And she said, it's just and I came back and it was the same number, but I've heard that.
You had it done again, it was the same number?
Mm-hmm.
What number?
I'll pull it up for you.
Okay, because it used to be 6, used to be the threshold, and then we backed it down to 5.7. And
I might have been like 5.6.
Well, that's normal.
No, she told
below
me
5.7 is normal. But people are getting very worked up about some of these numbers, so that doesn't fit for me. Do you have no genetic history?
None.
Come on now.
Yeah, I was freaking
and a skinny
out.
white guy with type 2 that get all kinds of special complications too. You don't want to get that.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Now he's got me more shit to be afraid of.
Well, you're not going to get it.
However, I text him all the time with everything that's wrong with me, and he's like, just shut up. You're okay. Go do this or do that.
The Bell's palsy was a stroke, just so you know. As far as he was concerned, that was a stroke. So, how do you know it's not a stroke? How do you know it's not a stroke? How do you know it's not a stroke?
I have two bits that I do on stage that involve you. One is when I was going to India, and you go, where are you going? I said India, and you go, you're going to die. And I go, no, I'm not. And you go, did you get vaccinated? And I go, no. And you go,
oh, that's when I said you're going to die.
Yeah. You go get vaccinated. And I go, why? And you go, they have diseases there that we don't have. And if you get it, you can't come back. And I go, well, then what? And you go, you're Indian. You go get cleaned. Like go get your. So I went, I forget, I got typhoid fever, yellow fever.
Good.
I wouldn't take the malaria pills. I freaked out on that one.
That's, I think, when I called you insane again. But there's different ways of doing that now. So
right.
Yeah.
And then
did you at least wear DEET and all that stuff?
I was terrified.
Okay, good.
I was terrified of getting we stayed in really nice hotels, but where they said, oh, they have these mosquito zappers and everything, but it was still
it's concerned.
That fear. Yeah.
And you can anyway.
And then every comedian I talked to over there, they're like, I've had it.
Malaria.
Yeah, they're all like, yeah, I've had it.
Wow.
Can
you imagine?
Oh,
it's horrible.
Horrible. More people die from that than AIDS, I think.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's funny. I used to do a joke about that, about like people are worried about sharks. I'm worried about mosquitoes.
Yeah, that's appropriate.
Yeah, because
way more appropriate. I'm sure you gave them the numbers at that point.
That's a shitty thing. Like when you go and you die, and people are like, "How'd you die?" And you're like, Zzz. like how? What was it like? I don't know. I didn't even see it. It was just some little thing landed on my neck, and that was the end of it.
There's something in this bus. Do other people cough in here?
No, just
I'm reacting to something. It's interesting. Yeah, I don't get this. I'm familiar with this. It's like an allergic thing. It's like, I think it's formaldehyde.
Well,
Gotta be careful.
Don't say that. We did get carbon monoxide poisoned in here.
Well, because the bus exhaust.
So when we drove it across country,
Corolla has a story like that too. In the back of a bus, just like this.
We were driving with the windows down, thinking everything's fine, but that doggy door is where the engine is.
Oh,
and it was unsealed.
Perfect.
And so the engine, the air was just coming straight in and back to here. And the guys that were back here had a whole bunch of comedians. They're all bitching. We got headaches. We feel not.
And you're like, fuck you.
And I kept going, shut up, you pussies. We got to get to Chicago.
Oh my God.
And I'm driving one day and we're in Iowa. And all of a sudden I go, oh my God. I don't feel good. And I pull over to a hardware store. I run in and I get a carbon monoxide meter.
Good for you.
And I come on the bus and I put it down. I read the directions. I turn it on. It goes beep, 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 beep. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And they look at me and they're like, you almost killed us. And so I drive to like just up the road.
I wish this was on TV.
I know.
The Bingo Bus.
Whole
the Bingo
show,
Bus.
yeah.
So much great stuff could have been on TV.
Drive to the place 4 blocks away. That's the only diesel repair shop. I go in. There's rebel flags everywhere.
Perfect.
And I'm like, I walk in. The guys are like, I come walking back out. The guys are like, what? Is he going to fix it? I'm like, we gotta leave. And they're like, why? I'm like, you go in there. I dare you. So the guy turned out to be a really nice guy despite his racism.
From the swastika on his forehead.
Yeah. And we had it fixed and everything. We had it towed back to California. They fixed it and everything.
Wow.
But it was pretty scary.
Yeah. You towed it back to California.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
$3,500.
Jesus.
Yeah. We were pretty upset about that.
Why don't you just get an oxygen tank and drive it?
I was asking a friend what to do, like what to fix this and what to fix this, and he sent me a picture of like what you wear if you fly a fighter jet.
Perfect.
He goes, this is much cheaper. Just get this.
Right.
And he goes, drive back wearing this. I'm like, there's no way I'm driving with this like mask on my face. And he goes, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. I'm like, yeah, until I get pulled over 18 times.
Oh my God.
They think I'm delivering sarin gas. But the other joke about was when I called you when I had Bell's palsy, you said, you go, you have Bell's palsy. And I'm like, no, I can't move my face.
I have a stroke. I have a stroke.
And you go, you're not having a stroke. And you go, you need an antiviral and and a steroid.
Yeah.
And I went down to urgent care and the woman looks at me and she goes, I think you're having a stroke.
Oh,
just go to the emergency room. So I went and they were like, you have Bell's palsy. And
this is
like,
why you don't go to urgent care.
Yeah.
God damn it. They can't even diagnose Bell's palsy. That's insane.
She said to me, your forehead looks like it's not, or I forget what it was. It could move or didn't move. And I don't know.
Oh, come on.
I fought with my doctor about this. That's caused by the herpes virus, right?
Well, herpes virus is a giant class of viruses, and I do think the one that causes Bell's palsy is a herpes virus.
Yeah, that's what I told her.
But not herpes simplex.
Right.
It's another. Herpes is just a class of viruses.
Yeah. Does everybody have that? Because I feel
herpes,
like
that's one type or another. Yes, sure.
That's what I feel like.
Yeah, all the blood tests for herpes are worthless. No, I'm not kidding. Because we all have some sort of exposure to all kinds of stuff. So
yeah, because I feel like everyone I know has either had chickenpox, shingles.
Those are all herpes viruses.
Yeah.
You're an expert.
Epstein-Barr.
You're expert.
You
read too much.
Dr. Drew, if I could have gotten better than D's in school, I would have wanted to be a doctor.
Well, if only you'd gotten Bell's palsy when you were 14, then he would have motivated you to do all this
Probably
stuff.
would have.
I know.
And I would have liked to have been a doctor.
Then you would
but I don't have the intelligence to be
it would have. I think it would have freaked you out.
Probably. What's it called? Pre-meds disease?
Medical students syndrome, yeah. Because you see
know
lots.
Oh, it's a true.
Yeah, all the way through medical school, as you study these different topics, you think, I've got this, I've got that, I've got this, or I must have that. Especially in psychiatry. When in psychiatry, everyone would read the personality disorders and go, that's me, I have this personality disorder.
Well, that's me too. One of my first jokes was I said, I'm a hypochondriac. I said, everything I read, I think I have. I read my sister's tampon box and thought I had toxic shock syndrome. That was one of my first jokes of all time. So and I remember I read your book. You have a great book, The Mere Effect, which is all about narcissism, which everybody should read because we have a president with it.
Yeah, and we all have it now. And it's everywhere now.
It's crazy.
We have had a narcissistic turn, and that's kind of what we were predicting in the book, and it is now ubiquitous.
So I remember reading your book and going,
humbly,
"Oh shit, I'm a narcissist."
We'll have traits now,
right?
We'll have those, and that didn't used to be that way. It's a new trend.
I'm hoping the pendulum's going to swing back.
It has to.
Because I feel
I'm trying to look at other periods of history where there's been so much narcissistic tendencies, and the only thing I can find is pre-revolutionary France, and that didn't go so well. You know what I mean? And so that's a similar kind of a phenomenon. Lots of childhood trauma, lots of broken up families, lots of, all kinds of fucked up shit went on, and lots of trauma, lots of narcissism.
And the internet perpetuated this.
Yeah, it's hard to know causationally. It certainly is the environment to act out the liabilities of narcissism, which is envy and aggression.
Interesting. Yeah. Because the social media aspect of comedy, and even seeing it in the CrossFit world with all the fitness people, like these
fighting
people,
each other.
These people went from obscurity to massive fame with the introduction of this world of the CrossFit and fitness world, where one day they were just a guy that was a gym rat, and the next day they have 100,000 people asking them what they had for breakfast.
Oh wow!
And watching everything they do, and them posting 10 times a day and creating blogs and follow my this and follow my that and
at least that it doesn't cause narcissism, but it fosters narcissistic tendencies, right? Certainly creates self-preoccupation.
And I see it with comedy, and I've asked people this a lot. I go, if you could go back to the days before the internet, would you? And older audiences are like, fuck yeah.
Yeah. Young people will go, huh? What are you talking about? How's that possible?
Yeah.
It's like,
and I think it's I don't think it's a good thing, and I feel like it disconnects me, and I liked it, but I get those alerts from my phone going, you've been on for 12 hours today.
Wow.
I'm like, what? I was on for how was I on for 12? I mean, I don't shut apps down, but
Right.
I do use it constantly. But I'm not an Instagram, Facebook poster. I do it out of obligation and obligation only.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't want to do it. I don't want it to be part of my business.
I kind of feel the same way.
And if you could take that aspect out of my life, I'd be a much happier person. And I don't like that the people that are good at it are the ones that are successful. And I see that a lot.
That's interesting.
And it frustrates me because I'm like, I'd like to be just about my art. You know, people go, hey, you're a good stand-up. Where I see people that kind of, there's a phenomenon now.
I still think if you're good at something,
the cream rises to the top.
Yeah.
It does.
You still have to do a certain amount of social media, but it doesn't have to be your primary mechanism.
It does, but there are people out there who I consider stand-up comedy like jazz.
Yep.
You can't just wing jazz. You've got to really have played for years to get good at it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of guys coming into stand-up comedy clubs that are they are Instagram famous.
Mm-hmm.
And they're funny on their Instagram, where they'll do pranks on people, or whatever they do, rants or whatever, but it's not stand-up comedy. And then they will come sell out a comedy club.
Wow.
And the market dictates that, and the market wants to see them over me.
That can only last so long.
That's what I'm hoping. Yeah. And I'm hoping it's going to swing back to people just like, now let's go see the good shit. And
I think comedy has taken a special position in the last 5 years or so, almost where rock music used to be.
Yeah.
It's almost that spot.
Yeah.
Where it's informing us about our culture, and it's in the background, and it's moving us in ways.
Because rock doesn't do that anymore.
No. Music generally doesn't, I don't think.
I reference this a lot. I was a ski patrol way back when, and one of the guys that was a ski patrol with me was a priest, a Catholic priest. And he said, "You're a comedian?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "I watch a lot of stand-up comedy." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "Comedians have their finger on the pulse.
Yeah, they see things.
They know what's important and relevant. And so that's what I write my sermons about."
Oh, wow.
And he said, "I've been watching that Def Comedy Jam a lot.
Oh, gosh.
And those guys say motherfucker way too much."
Oh, funny.
But you're right. And I think comedy is that, but they're trying to silence us.
Who? Oh, yeah, the
social justice warriors.
Yeah, really sort of the mob.
Yeah, it is.
And again, mob is part of the narcissistic turn. Like you lose yourself in the mob, and you're gratified when you act out your aggression. That's
part of it.
Pathological.
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
It seems like it's all narcissistic.
Yeah, it's really disturbing, and I don't know what we do about it, because the mob is not happy until there's blood.
Yeah,
you literally and the current version of beheading is lose your job. And for somebody whose livelihood is dependent on their job, that is a very serious thing to take away from somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no bullshit if you're asking somebody's job to get taken away from them. And they do that they're not satisfied until that happens.
I don't know when they are satisfied. I feel like they still keep stomping.
They will.
And I saw Matt Damon make a good point about it, where he said, well, then there's how do you teach accountability to your children, where it seems like the people that don't apologize don't lose. Like they don't lose the job.
Right.
And Adam said that. I had Adam on the bus, and he was talking about, they go after you. He goes, if you don't have any air in the balloon, they can't take it out.
Yeah.
And Adam goes, they're never going to get me. Fuck up. Like Adam was
but
hilarious.
he has no employer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he doesn't have to worry about it. Most people have an employer.
But they can find him in different ways.
Yeah.
And they can't.
But he's kind of part of that intellectual dark web. He sort of is in the Jordan Peterson, Rogan sort of area.
Sure. But this, what Matt Damon said is, Louis C.K., they took away his life. They took away his career.
He seems to be kind of forging on. I was talking to Jay Moore about that last weekend.
He's trying.
I wish he says the things and asks the questions that I can't even imagine. You know what I mean? They're like, no, I can't even think about it. But we need that person. And so my question, my daughter, who sort of thinks a lot about these things, I said, well, how does we used to grant him that privilege, and now we've taken that away. How does he regain that? How does he get back? Because we need that person.
Yeah.
How could he do it? And some people will say by really apologizing and getting treatment and gaining insight and blah blah blah. I don't think he's doing that.
No.
And nor am I saying, hey, you got to do that. That's not my position. I think what he's doing is just going to forge on and take and find whatever people want to find him.
But also, how do we know he's not doing that?
Kind of the way he does his comedy. It's possible he is. But I would think he'd be talking about that in his comedy. I know how comedians are. When shit comes up, they can't help but bring it in. But we don't know, to be fair.
Remember, I saw him do a joke after 9/11 that was so... And as comics, that was kind of a badge of honor to see how fast you could do a joke about tragedy. Like, if you did it... I saw a guy...
Listen, you know the famous thing in Aristocrats, right? Where,
the Aristocrats.
Where... Gilbert Godfrey.
The 9/11 thing.
Yeah, he starts at
that started the whole movie, which made a brilliant, one of the funniest movies of all time.
Yes.
There was a comedian, Chris, he's an Australian guy. He's really funny. I'm having a blank right now, but he had a really funny story. He was an Australian, and the crocodile hunter just died, and he was on stage and did a joke about the crocodile hunter, and somebody went, "Oh, too soon." And he goes, "Too soon? I would have done that on the boat." And I saw Louis do a 9/11 joke right after 9/11 where he said, "I think you know how evil you are. By exactly when after the World Trade Center bombing, you masturbated." And he said, "For me, it was right between Tower 1 and Tower 2 going down." And he said, they told me to get on with my life. I remember the audience kind of booing it, and I laughed like I've never laughed before, because as a comic, this is a guy that's willing to do the craziest stunt, go the farthest.
Well, this is exactly what Jay was saying about his thing just this last week.
Right.
The stuff he was saying was awful.
Well, here's the thing.
And funny.
That joke that he did just came out on his last special. So he didn't release it till 15 years later. 15 years later, and it was funny now. It's really funny because of the time that he created between it. So this Parkland joke wasn't developed. And you have to go through that horrible phase. I've had so many jokes where people are going, "Why would you do that?" And I go, "Just wait. Let me work on that like 10 more shows. And I will adjust things."
That's a really interesting thing. I've never heard anybody talk about. That's very interesting.
And it needs
we're going to the rubric of the temporality of comedy.
Yeah.
The temporal relationship to comedy and history.
Yeah, and also
which is fascinating.
I always think of it like as clay. You know, you've thrown clay on the wheel, and if you only let me work on it for 10 minutes, it's going to look like a hunk of shit. Yeah. But after an hour or two, I'm going to have a bowl for you that you can put things in.
And by work on it, so I'm not sure, I know how your listeners think about these things, but explain what you mean.
So in stand-up comedy, when you tell a joke, a lot of times it's managing the response on the joke, where you hear the reaction and you're able to go, "Oh, that to them wasn't as funny as it was to me."
And then do you think to yourself, is it my timing?
It could be the inflection. It could be the timing. It could be a smile on your face. It could be a smirk. It could be your
And do you think about it in that moment, or do you think about it later?
You think about it in the moment and hopefully record it or go back and then you'll go back and add maybe a little more of a setup to it. You might say, instead of going, "I hate this, blah, 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 this person, blah, blah, blah," you might go, "Because when I was younger, these guys beat up on me all the time. I hate this." And then all of a sudden the audience goes, "Oh, well, he's got reason."
They're also into a narrative at that point. There's a narrative arc.
So there's so much to the writing of a joke. And it's great. It's so funny for me to watch all these people judge and get so angry about a joke.
Well, because they don't understand you're telling a joke. It's like a magician doing an act and then getting angry with whatever the act is because they don't know it's magic. You know what I mean?
It's amazing. South Park can say anything and do anything because they're cartoons.
Yeah.
And the other thing, cartoons are called comics. And I'm like, that's what we are. Yeah. We're a cartoon character of the human species. We are up there. We're the court jester, and we're doing these things.
But you become the poets and stuff too.
Yeah,
lately.
And that's been the problem. I think they've given us a little too much say.
Oh, perhaps.
Like,
I don't think it deserves the attack that it's gotten lately. Let's put it that way. That's what I'm reacting to.
At the end of the day, you shouldn't take us serious. And maybe that's because people like Al Franken have become politicians and been taken a little more serious, where people went to Jon Stewart for their politics or went to Bill Maher for their politics.
But I'd so much, because comedians are essentially always smart, I'd much rather go to them than a musician, an actor, a director. You know what I mean?
It's a good point.
It's a better pool.
It is
for opinions that are smart.
It is a good point.
So and they are less vocal than the ones that are standing up there at the Golden Globe Awards, telling us sort of difficult to understand things based on what they do. I try to understand it.
Yeah.
Hey, Rogan has some weird problem with me. I don't know what it is. He's
really
always talking shit, and it's very surprising because I love Joe and I listen to his podcasts. And
I think I heard this at one point. I think it was the weed thing.
I think he thinks I'm anti-weed or something, which is bizarre.
I think you told me that though. I don't remember. I've never heard it.
Like for instance, I made peace with Doug Stanhope, and we're friends now, and I love Doug.
Yeah,
and
Doug's a great guy,
and he just didn't understand who I was, and he's an open-minded, smart dude, and we talked, and he figured it out.
Amazing.
And if I were a shithead, he'd see me as a shithead, and that would be the truth. That'd be that. And I wrote the intro in his book.
Really?
Oh my God! In his book, when he called me, I literally thought I was getting punked. and I said, "Where's your buddy?" The guy that plays the parts of the Caribbean. Where's Dap? Where's your buddy Dap? Why didn't he write it for you? And he basically said, I would, I just can't find him. so I said, all right, I'll do it. And I loved his book. And it was really, I think, Bukowski and
he's a genius. He's my favorite.
There are people that would be jealous of the epic that he went through. It scares the shit out of me for him as a friend.
Yeah,
because you read that and you go, oh my God, Doug, you're not going to survive this. This is not good.
Yeah,
but it's a legacy he goes through.
Yeah, he's so unique. And I guess growing up, when I was coming through comedy, I would get to a club and I would do crazy shit, and they were always like, hey, do you know this guy Doug Stanhope? And I'd go, yeah. They're like, he did what you did times 30.
Yeah.
And I went, and I was a little competitive and jealous, and then I just at one point went, I can't be that, and I'll never be
else.
that.
Yeah,
and
that is Doug.
And he's special, and they only come around once in a generation, and he's that guy.
Him. But yes, he is that. But Rogan goes, oh, why didn't you have a real doctor write your intro? I'm like, what? Come on. What's going on?
I have a feeling you and Rogan could have, like, the way I talk to you and the way I talk to him, you two could talk for 97 hours.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
And I love his interviews with Jordan Peterson.
He is, and I love Jordan. I'd say I'm left of center and liberal, and I love Jordan Peterson. I think I agree with almost everything he says.
Yeah, because he's speaking from a place of just truth.
Yeah.
He's just speaking the truth.
I think it's not
an opinion.
I think if you reached out to Joe, you two would.
I've tried.
Really?
We used to be friends, weirdly too. And we used to have a relationship. And it's very weird. But anyway,
maybe you should go smoke weed with him.
I would do that if that's what it takes. Whatever it takes.
Are you allowed now that it's legal in California, or because it's federally illegal, you can't be a doctor?
I don't even know. That's a good question. I imagine I could.
I've wondered it about lawyers.
As long as I'm not. That's a good question, but I imagine as long as I'm not having any active responsibility, it's the same as alcohol, right?
That's what I would think.
I would think, yeah.
I wonder that about doctors and lawyers, about them like.
And
being
I've taken
disbarred.
CBD. I've done CBD before.
What do you think of that?
Screws with my sleep a little bit, and it didn't do much for me. I've tried both the topical stuff for the joints, and I've taken the tablets. Not much.
I've had many conversations because we've had sponsors of the show, and I've looked into it. There's
some people have dramatic responses, and so if we can figure out who to give and there's no harm in trying it.
Who's got the good shit?
Well, no, it's not just the good shit. It's there's no harm in trying it. That's for sure. And we don't think. Although I worry about addicts using CBD because we don't really know yet the deal. And you shouldn't be, if you have anxiety and depression, don't do it without talking to your doctors. Obviously, you don't treat yourself.
Right.
But if you're somebody that's just treating a little insomnia or a little joint stuff or a little, a little elevator problem,
right?
I've heard trying it at all.
First I ever heard of it was a friend said, I was having anxiousness, and he was a big wave surfer. Yeah. He's been on the show, Jamie Sterling. He said he's got his own line of it now, and he said, you need to take CBD. And I said, why? And he said, it's just going to make you relax a little. You're going to get on the airplane. You'll have a more pleasant experience, blah, blah, blah. And then I talked to other people. You got to make sure you get CBD, and it's got to have some THC in it for the.
They argue about that. That may or may not be important.
But I've had wonderful experiences with THC, and I've also had horrendous experiences with edibles. So
have you? It scares me because I smoked pot in college, and I started having panic attacks soon after that. And I've always wondered if that had something to do with it. And I've seen people get disabling panic attacks from cannabis before. I've seen that.
That's kind of what happened to me.
Yeah.
I had from one time it was from smoking too, and it triggered. And I just it's like anything. Even if I don't drink a lot anymore, but if I have I'm shit faced drunk, I'll have
a panic attack.
Yeah, I just to be in another state.
I've been consuming a carcinogen. I'm gonna die.
But so if I ever smoke weed, it's always like 1 or 2 puffs, and it's I'm in this because I've done Doug's show. Have you? Doug does Getting Doug with High.
Of course.
I've gone and done his show where they smoke.
It's insane.
Yeah. And at one point I'm on stage and Kasim G sitting next to me. I don't know if you know Kasim G. He's an internet guy. He used to be my intern. And he's sitting next to me. And Tommy Chong was on the show. And they're passing this vape, a vaporizer, like this big balloon. And everybody's inhaling it, and I don't know how much is going in me, much I've taken, but all I'm thinking is I lean over to Kasim and I don't realize I'm mic'd, and the whole audience can hear everything I say, and I go, I'm really happy right now. And I go, but I'm really worried about what's going to happen later. I go, have I smoked too much? I don't know how much is in me. Am I going to be fucked? And I hear the whole audience laugh, and I go, why are they laughing at me? And that panic took over me. I'm like, but it was, I don't know. A couple times were edibles, and have you ever seen Joey Diaz and how many edibles he can eat?
No. What do I know Joey Diaz?
Joey Diaz is always on
Joe's
shows.
I know Joey. Yeah.
I can't give you the number, but there are these things, they're called black stars. And the stars all have certain milligrams of, and I said to him, I don't do those. And he said, if you did, you could probably do 5 to 10 milligrams. That's it. And he ate, I think each one has 5. Oh. He ate a bag of them.
Oh my God.
And he has no problem. He's developed this tolerance.
Oh, interesting.
And then he does the show. And I was like, oh my God. You're scaring me how high you are, that because I know how I felt with a little tiny bit of that. Eesh. And you're at bath salts level. So
it's got to be not good for you at a certain point.
But we've had you for how much time? 1 hour and 20 minutes. Oh my God, I'm sorry I took you so long.
I'm not going anywhere.
I have let's do the steroid thing really quickly. We talk about it on the show all the time. I believe everybody's on them. No,
steroids?
Yeah. In the competitive sports.
I want to be on them. I told you. I really want to do them, but I'm not going to because they scare me too much.
What would you want out of it? The longevity, the strength, the
when you work out a lot, it's nice to see progress.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
I've plateaued since I was 28.
Yeah, that's where I am.
And so it's just to be fun and exciting to build again.
I remember when I used to build muscle, and it doesn't happen anymore. I can get fitter. I can see, it's hard to, but I can see
I know what you're talking about.
Better times or things like that, but not.
Although this carnivore thing did juice things up a little bit that way.
Really?
Yeah, it leaned me out like crazy, and not crazy, but better. And
I leaned out when I went keto. I leaned out.
Increased my strength.
Strength?
Yeah, went up.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think so much is psychological.
Maybe, but I have my feeling was that maybe it raised my testosterone a little bit or something.
Could.
I don't know.
Do you ever monitor your testosterone to see where you are?
I do it twice a year. It's actually part of my prostate cancer monitoring. So.
Should someone like me get? I think mine was in my blood panel. I think they did.
Usually, they commonly do it. Yeah.
And I didn't get. They pretty much, the way I get my blood panels back, if it's green
way
or
abnormal.
red, they'll have a red thing, and then you read it and you go, what's
that? What's ALT?
Yeah, and then I freak the fuck out. But
MCHC.
And my testosterone was normal, and I was surprised. I was like, I would have figured, when's it start going down? 30?
It depends on the individual, right? We're peaking in our 20s for sure. But, what's normal for a given age group and a given individual, we don't know. We really don't know. We just know what's abnormal.
Okay.
We know when you get into an abnormal range what that is.
And that's why they allow them in the drug testing.
Such a big range.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, I wondered that and apparently that's basically what they do. If you're here, dope to here, because they just assume
they just take you to a higher range.
Yeah. It's like if they raise the blood alcohol, or my friends that know that they can have 2 beers and stay under the alcohol level and still drive.
God, in like Utah now, they've lowered the blood alcohol level to a point where it's like practically 2 sips of wine. It's crazy.
I got in a big argument with Hannah Gadsby, who did Nanette, that comedy special. Go in and watch it.
Yeah.
Go watch it after tonight. Watch Nanette.
I will.
That's your homework.
Okay, well, you're watching Killing Eve. I'll watch
Killing Eve. You watch Nanette, and then you have to message me after you watch it. They're saying it's the new comedy.
What network is it on?
She's on Netflix, and she's the hit of the year.
And it's a sitcom?
It's a 1-hour comedy special.
Oh, okay.
She's a stand-up comic from Australia, and she is the...
Oh, I saw it.
Okay.
She's gay?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
So I know Hannah very well.
Okay.
And we got in a huge argument one time. And I like Hannah, but we got in a huge argument that I said Australia, in Brisbane, I think it was, they said they stop as many cars as there are... or they do as many stops for drunk driving, like random breathalyzers, as there are people
in Brisbane,
in the what's it called, Queensland, the whole state.
The big area, yeah.
And I was like, that's crazy. Like, let's say 5 million people live there.
So
they do 5 million stops.
Why don't they just have them installed in everybody's car?
I mean,
have you
and I said,
before you start your car.
I said, there's a certain point where your personal freedom is infringed upon you, where, and I'm saying I'm not saying it's right to drunk drive, but I said, are you going to take cars away? Are you going to take, like, when do we become too restricted? And she's like, people die from that. And I said,
boy. But now if you really want to get that crazy, you're going to have to also start restricting benzodiazepine use and being able to assess that. Cannabis has a certain amount of stuff at a certain point. Opiates, all that stuff would have to be carefully monitored because those are more significant than tiny amounts of alcohol.
And my argument was, I said, I've driven drunk before, which I know I shouldn't have, and I've never crashed or I felt like I never came close. However, I've driven tired many, many times and almost wrecked every time I'm tired. And I feel like it's 1,000 times worse. And my argument to her was that because there's a Mothers Against Drunk Driving, that they're able to vilify the drinking aspect of it, where you're not going to have mothers against tired drivers.
Although law enforcement occasionally would go on those campaigns about tired drivers because they are aware.
It's crazy.
They are aware of this.
I hate driving this thing home after we do it we do the Improv on Tuesday nights. And I'm like, I tell my wife, I'm like, I might just sleep in the bus because
it's safer. I
drive an hour out to like Malibu and I'm like, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
I listen
especially like carbon monoxide pouring in here.
Well, I can't thank you enough for doing this. What do you guys do on the Swole Patrol? What do you guys talk about? Does Mike geek out?
Mike is the host. I'm the co-host now, which I like. I get to do second position. And it depends on who the guest is. Like I said, I'm looking forward to Sean Baker.
When do you have him on?
This weekend.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, he's been on before, but I was away, and it was by phone, that one for me. I was in New York. And this is with him in the room, so I want to get at him.
He's a big ribeye eater.
I've seen the pictures, and I'm actually jealous. Those look really good.
I do a lot of bison and a lot of
bison.
Yeah, I eat bison almost.
God, I was in North Dakota doing some addiction talking and stuff, and there are places there that have bison everything, bison hot dogs,
they
bison
should.
sausages.
It's so much better,
so good.
I tell people, I go, when you eat a bison, like a New York strip of bison, you'll never want a strip of cow again.
That's right. It's so good. And listen, the North Dakota governor now is a friend of mine and his wife, and she talks publicly about being a recovering person, and they have big addiction campaign. They're very good. They're doing amazing stuff. North Dakota. Yeah. And lo and behold, the governor was the head of this business that was bought by Microsoft. And so there's lots of people from Seattle in Fargo, which is crazy. People from Seattle because they have this big Microsoft outlet there. And now he's the governor. He's this super smart, great guy. They're just the loveliest couple in the world. And he said at one point, he was just telling me, we were just talking one night. He was doing cattle ranching or something. He decided he was going to do bison. And he goes, you have no idea, first of all, how difficult these things are to contain and how agile they are. He said they put up like a wall. I'm not going to butcher this story, but what I imagined in my head as he was telling us, like they essentially pulled up a semi because they had to keep them contained there, and they look up and the thing's on top. They can jump like a story. A bison. It's incredible.
Have you ever seen a muskox?
No.
Oh, you have to Google, anybody listening, Google muskox. I'm in Alaska, and I'm going to do a gig, and I'm driving down the street, and I went, stop the car. What kind of...
Is that thing with the big, weird...
It looks like a part bison, part snuffleupagus.
Yeah, it's got. I'm going to put my mic down. It's got something that looks like this, right?
So
I know what it is.
So I said, what kind of governmental like experiment are you doing over here?
African, I think.
That you just mated a buffalo and an elephant
and a muskrat.
And they go, oh, those are muskox. And I go, don't say it like we should know what that is.
Yeah.
You just said, oh, that's a muskox. That's a fucking beast of an animal that no one's ever seen before. And they're like, so I start throwing snowballs over because I didn't believe that they were real. No, but these things are like they didn't know a snowball.
And they have long hair too. Don't
yeah,
they?
They
look like.
Show me a picture of it. I didn't believe they exist. Somebody said all the hunter guys said that.
Oh yeah.
The harder an animal is to kill, usually the better it tastes.
Oh God, that's nice.
So yeah, but you're looking at like buffalo's better than cow.
So what is this, a buffalo and a what?
I don't know what it is. It terrifies me that it exists and we don't talk about them.
How did I know what this was? That's what I'm freaking out about. I feel like I've never seen it before in my life.
I saw it.
And I kind of knew what I was.
Yelled, "Stop the car!" I was like,
I think I've seen these in zoos or something like this. That's how I know it.
So, elk. Have you had elk?
Yep. I'm okay. Well, I eat I eat Joe Rogan's elk bars all the time.
Elk's better than deer.
Those on it elk bars.
Oh yeah. Oh,
I eat those all the time.
Oh, the bison bar's the best thing in the world.
I've not found that. I like these elk bars.
The one with cranberry in it.
See, that's why.
Oh, you can't do it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. That's the best thing in the world. You're not talking about the Epic, are you? The Epic bar.
On it.
The on it
elk bars.
Epic makes one. I don't.
It's elk and bacon. It's perfect.
Oh, jeez.
It's so good.
My daughter and I, she's 4. We eat bacon together every morning. Like nice. We are bacon and eggs and avocado every morning.
Good.
Do you eat a lot of avocado?
I like avocado. It's a hassle to prepare, but I would.
Yeah.
I like it.
I just cut it open.
Yeah, I would. I know, but for some reason, it's always a hassle for me. I know.
Oh, it's so good. Potassium.
I love it. Well, all that good fat.
Yeah. Anything else? Did we missing anything?
Do we geek out enough on nutrition and exercise? Did we get too far into comedy?
That's what this whole show is.
No, but did we get too far? I liked all the different twists and turns we take.
Same with me. And I feel like that's what makes this different. I'm not an expert in health and fitness by any means. So,
and I'm not either. And I'm to be clear, because I am a biologist and a physiologist, I'm a little bit skeptical of some of the stuff that's out there. That's when I keep giving you shit when you say your mitochondrial density has gone up. It's like, maybe. It's like,
really?
Look, yes, of course you've built more mitochondria as you increase your aerobic capacity, but look, physiology and biochemistry is so complicated. Do you know who Kate Shanahan is? You should interview Kate Shanahan. She's a physician and she's a biochemist, real deal biochemist.
Okay, good.
And she goes, the body's so complicated, I can't say shit about shit. Here's what I can say. And she has some very specific opinions about fats and things. And she goes, this I can say because of carcinogen and whatever. And get her in here. She's very, very smart, very good.
Yeah.
Kate Shanahan.
Biochemists are some of my favorite people.
Okay, well, because she's just like, all this stuff about diet and nutrition is like, it's too complicated. We really can't say much. We can... maybe some of these things are kind of right that people claim. There's the actual science behind it.
There's a great debate you would like with Chris Kresser, who basically takes the paleo stance, argues with a vegan cardiologist on Rogan's show.
Yeah.
They go on for about 2 hours having their argument.
I think I heard about this.
They both basically said we should both agree that just non-processed foods are bad and that we should all be eating lots of vegetables and then but they still argued about, and what I liked about Chris more than the cardiologist was Chris kept saying these studies are so hard because they're epidemiological and the fact that there's so many
variables.
Yes.
Yep.
That you can't.
Yep. You should follow this guy. I've already got Feldman's last name if I can find it. I mean, first name rather. Just look up maybe like cholesterol Feldman, and he probably will pop right up. I don't see him on my thread right now. I forget his first name, but he really is doing good science on this, and he's collecting data all the time, and it's looking good.
So, one last thing. How do you feel? Have you gone into the Wim Hof shit at all?
The cold,
the breathing,
the cold. I love his stuff. I meant to take a cold shower this morning and I didn't.
Yeah.
I don't love the cold the way he does. I forgot to hate it. But when I go into, I do believe that there's some data just now that cold will increase your brain chemicals and increase your mood. It makes perfect sense to me because it's like a kind of a shock therapy. And so when I do cold showers, which I try to do is just both as sort of grit building and as possibly mood elevating, I always tell myself, I love it. The way he does. I love the cold.
Yeah, I have to do it as a joke. I always do it as a challenge with somebody. I go, I'm going to go in this pool or I'm going to go in this shower and how long are you going to stay in? I'm going to stay in for 5 minutes or I'm going to stay in. And I just try to like brood it out. But again, it's pretty, and I surf a lot, so I'm kind of used to the cold water.
Yeah, that's good.
But
I've gotten way weak on that as I've gotten older.
What, going the surf?
In the cold water, yeah. So bad.
The first second sucks, but I get used to it.
But I used to dive. I was a lifeguard on a beach, and I used to dive into everything any time of the year. No big deal. I was like, it's a little cold, whatever. Now I'm like, it's cold. I can't take it.
I think you guys need to have on Swole Patrol. I think you know him, Crazy Bobby, Mariel Hemingway's boyfriend.
I do know Crazy Bobby. I've had him on my podcast.
You did?
I think I had both of them on my podcast a couple years ago.
Crazy Bobby has built a thing called the Stratosphere.
What is it?
He's had these engineers build it, and it is it's a hyperbaric chamber.
Ooh.
And it's to create more red blood cells. It takes you to 33,000
Well, it can heal wounds and things too.
Yep.
It's good.
And it's up and down, so it's constant changes.
Oh, interesting.
And
good
there's
for him.
no adaptation. And he's working with Bruce Johnson at the Mayo Clinic.
He's not Crazy Bobby anymore.
He's still Crazy Bobby. We have him on the show, and people love Crazy Bobby.
Nice guy, too.
But Crazy Bobby, talk about a carnivore diet, and I've showed it on our Facebook page, the Wadcast Facebook page.
Yeah.
Crazy Bobby will open up a pack of 1 pound ground bison and just
raw,
then 2 raw eggs, then colostrum, then bee pollen, and that is a meal for him. Colostrum, bee pollen. I mean, he is
a little placenta in there.
He's 56 years old, and he looks like he's 25. So
well, there you go. I mean, that's isn't that not a case? At least sort of anecdotal evidence that maybe this beat thing's not so bad after all. Maybe it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I can't find the guys. I'm looking for his Instagram for his.
So you need to have Mariel and Bobby on, and we need to close this. This has been one of the best episodes we've ever done.
Oh my God!
I swear to God, because it's so fun. Well, maybe it's just because it was.
I always
so
know it's
fun
good when
me.
It goes fast. When we're in it.
I could talk to you forever. Thank you guys for listening. Go to our Patreon page, go to iTunes, rate, review, comment, do all that stuff. Come see me. I'm in. Where am I this week? I'm in Michigan. You'll hear all the dates at the beginning because this won't air for 3 weeks.
Great.
We got 2 other people before you. But I can't thank you, Dr. Drew. Check out the Swole Patrol.
Too long. Just check out drdrew.com. Everything's there. I'm actually starting a new YouTube page with Tom Segura and at Your Mom's House.
Tom's the best.
I just did their thing yesterday, and we're going to start. What he's going to do, he wants me to interview comedians, so you have to come on that.
I would love that.
And so he wants me to deconstruct the comedic
how we got the way we
and then we'll look at some Your Mom's House videos and find out what's
perfectly
normal.
Tom commentated our masturbation contest.
Of course he did.
At when I used to live in the house with Jim Jeffries. Yeah. We had a contest to see who could ejaculate first, and we all went to separate bedrooms and took laptops with us. And I got second.
Good, congratulations.
Yeah, Jim got first. Jason still hasn't come. So on that note, check out drdrew.com, wadcastpodcast.com. I want to thank Ernie Light. Is that what I call you? Was that my nickname for you?
Ernie Small.
It's Eric, right? Yeah. Yeah, Ernie left in the middle of this and left his assistant.
Eric, don't call me Ernie.
Yeah. Eric doesn't have the Eric a lot smaller than Ernie. And Rock Hard Rachel was here to help out. And that's it. Good night, everybody.